Hey guys, your John, come at you with another Diablo Immortal video. Today I am joined by the one and only Darth Microtransaction. You guys may or may not know him from all of his Diablo Immortal coverage. It's actually one of the highest ranked content creators right now for Diablo Immortal. I went ahead and I grabbed him for this video. We're going to talk about what kind of players are actually playing Diablo Immortal. I had him host a poll on his channel because, most people go and watch his content. If you don't, go subscribe to him. But I wanted to see what the background was of people that were actually playing Diablo Immortal, and we kind of want to have a conversation about this so that way you guys know what kind of players are actually playing Diablo Immortal in today's day and age.
Let's get into it, as Brad would say.
Yeah, exactly. So, like our good friend Chosen would say, is let's get into it. So, with that being said, I want to go ahead. I just want to pull up this right now. I want to pull it up. I want to show the poll here. So, for those of you who are new to the Diablo Immortal scene, for those of you who are playing Diablo Immortal, basically this video is going to kind of cater to you a little bit more as far as what is your background like? Did you start playing? Were you a Diablo 1 player, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Path of Exile? Were you a gacha game player? Because honestly, those aspects are kind of what rolls into what is Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal has like a gacha aspect. It has the ARPG grinding aspect that is, Diablo 3, Diablo 2, as well as Path of Exile. Like for myself, as you can see that I was a huge Path of Exile player before Diablo Immortal. Darth, what did you play a lot of?
So I played Diablo 3. I've also played, my fair share of gachas. I've tried most of them in this day and age. And I've got, a lot of time in Diablo 3. Diablo 2, I was just trying basically right before Diablo Immortal came out. I never really played much of Diablo 2. But I've played Path of Exile. I played everything but Diablo 2, basically.
Okay, yeah. So you have a pretty good background, pretty good understanding of like how these games work in general. And I did find it a little interesting. So as we look at the bar here, you can kind of see we actually have double the amount of people that played Path of Exile Diablo 2 came from like the gacha realm, which may be a little bit influenced or biased because obviously, being myself and you are former gacha game content creators. But actually the funny part is on your second channel, that was focused more on like Marvel Future Revolution, which is an ARPG somewhat gacha game, right?
Yeah, so the channel that is now DM Diablo Immortal was DM Marvel Future Revolution. And this channel was originally for Marvel. Yeah, 100%. Which is another kind of action RPG, like you're saying, sort of like Genshin and these
Yeah.
other ones, Tower Fantasy, etc. That's out now. So I figured it would be the closest demographic that would probably appreciate Diablo Immortal. So I figured it made the most sense. And then I haven't done too many games on this channel. I've only really covered Marvel and Awaken Chaos for a brief period, so it seemed like a fairly clean channel, and I didn't really want to start a new one all over again and remonetize and all that. So I was like, well, this one's got 20K subs. Let's just start it on this one.
Yeah, so that being said, a lot of this data isn't actually misconstrued. It's not tainted by the fact that we were like bigger gotcha content creators beforehand. So it actually looks like when it comes down to the people that are actually playing Diablo Immortal seem to be more of your typical mobile gotcha game player. Would you kind of agree a little bit with that sense of things?
No, I don't think I do agree, because it's like what you have to realize. There's 3 PC games on this list, and then there's gachas. If that was true, it would say 70% gachas and 30% these others. But if we add up, we have Diablo 3, Diablo 2, which are basically asking them where you play PC Diablo games, or we have Path of Exile. Even Diablo 3 is bigger than gachas. I think there's probably, I would think, the majority of the players in Diablo Immortal play some PC game other than Diablo Immortal, I would think. I think there's more. I think the WoWs are probably
Hmm.
heavier in terms from the Gush, and that's where I would agree with you in the sense that there's probably more of the monetized players are from the mobile space. But I actually think there's a large amount of these players that are PC related players too, because there's a lot of grinders in this game too, and I don't necessarily put mobile gamers and heavy like 15-hour a day grinders like really in the same space a lot of times, because if they are 15-hour grinders, they're grinding it on a computer most times,
Right.
and they have cross-platform like Genshin, etc. So yeah, I would actually say that probably a lot of these are PC gamers.
Okay, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you pointed that out because I did want to talk about that. because we see and we hear a lot of toxicity about this. I fully agree with you that a lot of the whales, I think, are coming from the gacha industry. I think, given like ourselves, right? Like we're like, we literally looked at this like, okay, it's $25 crest runs. Like, okay, like it's like pulling a sacred shard in Raid Shadow Legends, right? It's like 20, 30
basically.
bucks for a sacred shard in Raid Shadow Legends. Like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're
Like this is, we're
conditioned
used to it.
is the way I think of it for sure. It's like it's not a good thing,
Yeah,
but you know, we come from the mobile gaming space where we've been conditioned with these prices enough that we don't really balk at them, you know, quite as much for the good or bad or whatever. We're a little bit more chill about the space, so we're not necessarily popping off as much about it because we're more used to it. But um, you know, I mean, even that kind of makes people mad. If sometimes if you're there holding a picket fence and you're not, you know, in the picket line with them,
right.
you're also, you know, a target of this type of stuff. So, and you know, it's the other part is like I kind of, you know, I get it because it's like I spent $3,000, you know,
Hmm.
$3,350 to be accurate, in order to get my tier 2 wings, and that was with being lucky and sniping with the market, and you know, selling the good gems to buy the
Right.
crappy ones in order to level it up the cheapest way, and all this stuff. And so it's, I mean, yeah, I can see the ridiculousness in it for sure. I mean, the thing is the irony is like what I spent to get my tier 2 wings, which will go from, you know, now in every class, is what I spent to get one hero maxed out in Genshin Impact.
Yep. No, I
Shao
definitely
cost me
agree with you.
3150.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, and I totally agree with you. Like, I understand. Like, I've spent I think 2,300 now in the game. I don't have tier 2 wings. I don't have any 5 out of 5s. I've got 3 4 out of 5s now. I'm working on getting my fourth. So, like, I totally like, I agree with your sentiment on this. Like, it's, I think we are more conditioned. I think that kind of lends us as content creators not to be so upset as much about the monetization with Diablo Immortal. But it is interesting that, given like the poll data, a lot of people come from Diablo 3 and went over to Diablo 4. Like the fact that like people are like, okay, they're watching the videos, which means that they're probably playing the game. They're engaging in some way in the game. They may not be playing it as hard as they were Diablo 3 or whatever the case may be. But 41% are literally like, yeah, I came from Diablo 3 and I'm playing Diablo Immortal. And my, at least that's the way I kind of read this, right? So that's a good majority of PC players are kind of getting used to this mobile type feel. Do you think this is going to help them? Like, do you feel like this is going to kind of condition like the market for the mobile market, or do you think this is
I don't think it's
more
gonna help anybody. You know, like I just
okay?
don't like that word help with this. I think like is them being more exposed to ridiculous prices in mobile games gonna help them? No, I don't think it is. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's like I'm not gonna go up here and hate on everyone and
right.
everything, but like I understand the points that people make, and yeah, there's legitimate points to like why these games are not, you know, great in the marketplace. No, I get all of it. No, I don't think it's gonna help anyone.
No, I mean I don't disagree with you. I mean I think I think a lot of the hate and a lot of the like what comes of these type of games and having it the way it's set up right now is a lot of PC players are playing Immortal and they're kind of feeling the introduction into, oh hey, this is a true like gotcha game type monetization scheme, right? Whereas me and you are kind of conditioned for it. We know what to expect. We have our limits. We set our limits. And then you have a lot of people who are getting into this type of aspect and type of game, and they don't really know, oh well shit, I don't know, like maybe it's okay to spend this money or maybe I don't want to spend this money. Like there seems to be a lot of hate that's generated around it because they're not used to this type of interaction in the game, right? Like they're not used to, oh, I got to go buy my legendary gem, like I shouldn't have to do this. And they're not wrong, they shouldn't have to like
And they
pay to
probably
win.
shouldn't have to be used to that, you know?
Yeah,
The reality is they probably shouldn't have to be used to that. Look, I'm not used to it. Like when I grew up as a kid, right? Like my favorite games were Super Metroid and Command and Conquer, like from
yeah,
'95, right? Was there pay to win in that? Fuck no, there wasn't.
right,
Like, and it would have made it would have ruined the game. Like if
yeah,
Super Metroid was not about exploring to find your items, but I got the Zero Suit only if I paid pre-order, like yeah, of course the game would have been trash. And so it's I mean, I get it. I'm aware of it. The only time I ever really have started having problem with these points is when people make these points and go support something else. Like it's like, look, if you
right.
want to trash on Diablo more, though, I'll sit here and I'll agree with your points all day long. Yeah, sure, we'll shake hands on it. But I'm not going to then say that and then go to another game and spend thousands of dollars on a Genshin Impact ripoff and then ask for a sponsorship for Genshin and then shit on all the creators that do this, and then call the people that are like the wells in the game high school bullies. I'm not going to do all that shit
Right.
because so for me I as long as people are consistent with their arguments,
Mhm.
you can say whatever you want, and I'll sit here and agree with you. Yeah, no, there's problems with monetization in the game. And to be honest, it's a beat to dead topic, and I think everyone agrees at this point. It's like Diablo Immortal has pay to win problems, full stop. And it's like, what you want, what else or is anyone supposed to do about it at this point? It's like
Yeah.
you want everyone to stop playing the game. Okay, so no one plays the game now. So is that going to stop? No, dude. Like people are
No,
going
that's
to
yeah.
money is being made in this industry and will continue to be made. Like this ship has sailed since Candy Crush. Like these are mobile games are popular. They will be popular. There's nothing anyone can do about it. It's I mean even the people that are arguing against this shit will say the same thing. It's like no, like the ship sailed.
Right.
Like it's going to be this way.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate that today's day and age, this is what it is, right? Like this is what we're dealing with. Microtransactions is kind of a thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Like obviously, we can see here that over 70% on average or 70% exactly on average, are coming from PC games, and they're playing a mobile game that has the microtransactions. So this just tells us, like, hey, like they're getting
But
used to it, right?
it's everywhere.
Yeah,
They're already used to it. Like Lost Ark has microtransactions. Look, I played
yeah,
RuneScape since 2001 and since '03 people have been selling gold in that game. Like the microtransactions are in every game day and exist. And I'll dare the people to tell me these other Diablo games did not have pay to win. Diablo 2, Diablo 3 didn't have pay to win. It off. You're lying. It does. Okay. There's auction houses
yeah,
literally built into the game through Diablo 3 that got removed. And then people buy and sell items on the black market, basically online. They make their own auction house. So it's like I don't even want to hear about it.
yeah,
The problem is people value digital items in games at an exceedingly high price. And so because of that, there's this opportunistic value of in-game items, and somebody is going to capitalize it. Either the players are going to capitalize
right,
it with things like WoW boosting, where now WoW Gold is basically a real currency with stuff like WoW tokens, and now we're selling, mythic dungeons and all that, which again is pay to win, or they're going to do it by being the company themselves and make a pay to win mobile game where people can go and the people that are going to funnel this cash into the game because that's what they do, have their own spot to do it, and they can have their own kiddie pool that they dance around in and spend their money. That's basically what's happening. Is
yeah,
companies realize this has been in games and will continue to be in games because people really love video games and will put real life money into it if they can somehow. And if the game won't do it, they'll figure out how to make the other people do it.
yeah.
Power leveling's been the thing. Like I sold I sold boosting in League of Legends for years to pay some bills. Like it's the
Oh yeah,
system is
it's
corrupt in
there,
games.
there's always going to be that back channel, no matter what. Like it's no different. Like so, people rag on like or use Path of Exile as an example of like monetization, right? Where Path of Exile, you buy MTX, right? That's the only thing you buy. But and people argue like, oh well, yeah. I mean, there's no boosting. You can't buy the gear or whatever. Like yes, you can. Like you literally pay. Like there's crafting in the game. Like you literally pay someone to craft your gear for you. Like on off sites, like hundreds, thousands of dollars. Like I've seen it every league, 3 months. Like I've been playing PoE for years, but I do think people kind of like take this a little bit for granted. Like there's a lot of hate that gets generalized because Diablo Immortal, it's just a bad game. So many people have said, hey, we hate this game. It's stupid. They shouldn't have they ruined Diablo franchise. No, like unfortunately, society kind of ruined like gaming in general, where microtransactions are always going to be part of the game. Like, unfortunately, that's just the day and age that we live in. It's just a matter of like, are we enjoying it? Are we having fun with it? Are we playing it? And like
Mobile
your
games
poll,
are just honest about it. I mean,
yeah,
it's just mobile games are in your face about it. You're paying the company, and it's the other games have the terms of service that are supposed to protect you, where it's like, okay, well, you can't use the black market. You can't. We say you can't, but then it's like people do anyway. I mean, even in Diablo Immortal, we have people using other services to charge, stuff. I mean,
yeah,
we got hacks in Diablo Immortal already. People buy services to get hacks in the game. I mean, it's people are the problem. Like people are going
yeah,
to ruin every game everywhere you go, and I don't know, it's a little bit depressing because I feel like the golden, like, I wish my kids, when I choose to have them, would have what I would consider the golden age of gaming, which is like Super
Right.
Nintendo and N64. And it's like, how can we ever get back to those days? It makes me want to pick up the picket fence with the other people. But it's like, I feel like I've been hammered down so many years by these gaming companies, from everything from pre-orders to early access through games like Steam, where I've spent $1 million on all these games, even $100 like pre-founding for Albion Online and all these games you have faith of, and you just, every time you end up hating them. And
Yep.
it's I feel everyone's got that one game in their heart that they're always looking for again, like your first love. You broke your heart years ago.
Yeah.
Mine was
Yeah.
RuneScape, right? No game will ever live up to it
Yeah.
again, and you live your life trying to find that one true gaming love. And it's like, dude, you peaked at some point. It's downhill, boys. It's
Yeah.
downhill
No.
from here.
I know, right? Oh, so sad, so sad. But I mean, I don't know. I guess unfortunately it is what it is. I am glad to see though, like 70% of people that are coming from PC are at least willing to check out a mobile game and play a franchise for it, right? Like it can only lead for okay, maybe that'll give us a little hope that moving forward, like I don't know, like we go back to PC and it's better, or maybe they just release better mobile games. Because honestly, bro, like a lot of the mobile games out there are kind of trash. Unfortunately, there's a lot
There's
of
one
quick
thing to
ripoffs.
say. There's one good thing to say about the day and age, which there's a lot more variety of free games. Like when you
Yeah,
were a kid, you would buy whatever the latest Donkey Kong Country it was, and you
yeah,
would shut up and like it because that's the game. It was that or Batman, and you didn't like
yep,
Batman or whatever, right? So it's
yeah,
like that's what you got. You played Donkey Kong. And so there was something to be said for that, where you didn't really have the variety, so that game really was just good in your head. But the other part is like, we almost are spoiled with choice. Like, I mean, can you imagine if I had Diablo Immortal, like, as a kid coming straight out of 2001 RuneScape? Like, I get a hop in the Diablo. I'd
ooh,
probably, I would get a heart attack thinking it's the best game, ever.
yeah,
And so I try to balance a little bit of like, how much are we spoiled with good games with the fact that I'm paying $3,000 for the goddamn game? So, you know what I
right.
mean? I try to balance a little bit of the insanity with the reality of it. But the fact is, I don't think there's anyone on this planet that's got the exact same opinion about games, because we all have played all these different games and we found what we like in all these different. So gamers are always bickering amongst each other, even though we're kind of a nation, that should be united across the globe, because everyone's always got their certain little percentage of why this game's so much better. Because I think we all
Hmm.
do have that one true game that we think is like the game, or at least that experience we have while playing that game we're always chasing, which just isn't possible. Like people, every relationship's different, and
Yep.
it's the same way with games, in my opinion.
Oh no, I definitely agree. I agree with that completely. I think we're gonna go ahead and we'll wrap it up with this point. I think we kind of we talked about the poll that we had, and we kind of talked about I think the state and the thought process on Diablo Immortal, and kind of what we know of it as it is today. You got anything? You got any last arguments, last comments for the people watching the video?
No, man, you just wanted to have a chat. I felt like it's a good topic. There's not really much to say about it. I feel like everyone's got their own take. You could look at it a million different ways. I feel like my opinion on this stuff changes pretty much every day, and with every new person I meet and stuff. And I don't know. Everyone's got their own opinion on it. It's so hard to come up here and like say this is why these things are this way, or this
Right.
is this is that. 'Cause it's like I'm sitting here watching these games develop as I get older, and I'm watching things unfold year after year, and it's
And,
I
and they don't
hope.
make them like they used to.
Yes, that's what I hope that if I choose to have kids at some point, that there's going to be some games that they're going to have in their head, like, man, Super Mario 64 was just,
It
like, I
was
remember
it.
in that game. Yeah,
Yep.
I hope that those are still being created.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the channel. Thanks for doing this collaboration with me. I appreciate you. Everyone
Yeah,
who is
man.
still watching, you need to go follow our boy DM if you haven't already. I'm assuming you have, but if not, you need to hit that subscribe button. The links will be down below. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.
I'm gonna do the Brad piece at the end.
Bro,
Peace.
I've done that. I've done that ever, like forever, and I always throw it up, send it out.